What's on the table for discussion this morning before we open the lines?
Pedestrian crossing.
Who's going to start? Inspector, you or you, Sergeant?
A pedestrian crossing is a special place in a road where traffic must stop to allow people to walk across.
Can you put the mic closer to you?
Safe and frequent pedestrian crossings support a walkable environment. Pedestrians are especially sensitive to minor shifts in grade and the walk where they're supposed to walk. And then he said, who has the right of way at a pedestrian crossing when the lights are green to motorists? When the light is green, you know it is time for the motorists to cross or to drive. When the walk sign come up, then it is time for the pedestrians to cross. Watch out for pedestrians waiting to cross the road and make eye contact with them. So if someone is on the crossing and they want to cross, you make eye contact with the person to know that, okay, it is safe to cross, because sometimes you stop and the next vehicle will be coming from the opposite direction or overtaking you.
So one driver acknowledges you, but the other one isn't.
Right. So when you step on the crossing, this person might come up. So you always wait for both sides to stop before you cross. You step on the crossing to make sure that they acknowledge that you want to cross. If you stand on the side wall, that doesn't mean you want to cross. But from the time you put your foot down on the crossing, because sometimes people, they're standing by the crossing on the side wall, and you stop and they don't want to cross. So you make sure you step down. As long as you step on the crossing, the driver will know that you want to cross the road.
There's some form of acknowledgement.
Yes.
Is that for you for now, Sergeant? Or
Yes,
you have more?
for now.
Inspector?
Okay, just to add, a pedestrian crossing is also known as a crosswalk. And it's a place designated for pedestrian to cross, or in other words, where persons can use to cross, whether it's a street or avenue. And these are usually found at the intersection with traffic signals or traffic lights and pedestrian signals or at stop lines. Sometimes you may see them, especially if you're traveling, you might see the signs overhead. Here we have the push button into the traffic signals or the traffic pole. And we also have the road marking. All these are indicators where you can cross safely. One may ask, so what is the sidewalk? Right? And the sidewalk is a pavement, a paved area on the side of it where pedestrian also can walk, and the pavement is a hard surface on the road or a street. So in other words, it's like the pedestrian crossing is an extension of the sidewalks. And so there you will find we have the traffic wardens, and we're asking person, when you are using the crossing where there are no traffic light, wait until the traffic has stopped from both directions. Make sure the road is clear before crossing. Remember that the traffic does not have to stop until someone has moved on the crossing. And we are not saying that you must deliberately step down where there is no lights. If you want to cross, you step not directly in the path of the traffic, but so that the drivers could see, okay, GQ want to pass, and so let we give him the first preference to pass. And drivers and riders should give way to pedestrian while waiting to cross, and must also give way to pedestrian on the crossing. We know some drivers that I don't know what they'll be thinking. I mean, so some of the time they'll be so distracted that they don't even see, and then they tend to say, oh, the person ran across the road. All we are asking to stay focused, keep your eyes on the road, always look out for pedestrians.
Sergeant Henry?
Yes, and a pedestrian crossing sign is a warning sign. And this alerts the drivers that potential pedestrian on the road. And we know we have these by the school. So you will see it before you reach the actual crossing. This sign you will see it before you reach the crossing, as we call them zebra crossing. Because look like a zebra stripe, the black and the white. So before you reach that pedestrian crossing, you must see the sign. So you know That's a crossing above or ahead.
So let me slow down.
Right.
Pay attention.
And one should not overtake by crossings. You should never overtake by crossing, especially and by school zones. And person tends to do that.
Okay. Yes, Inspector, go ahead.
Okay. Also remember that as a pedestrian, you do not have the right of way over traffic until you step on the crossing. That's what I mentioned earlier. However, you must never step on the crossing in such a way that the driver have to brake hard or swerve to the other side and cause a collision. And the driver should stop and let any pedestrian cross by slowing down as they approach the crossing. As Sergeant Henry rightfully said, you must not overtake next to a crossing. And while you are stopping for that person to cross, you must stop behind the bar line. If you would look on the road just before you see the crossing, there's a white line. That is what we call the bar line. That is where the vehicle is supposed to stop to allow. So it's a good 25 meters between the crossing and the bar line. So drivers have enough time to stop to allow pedestrian to cross. Also, one must be careful when approaching the traffic. You must press the button, that's the button on the traffic pole, and wait until the light is turned red, then the walk would appear. Do not cross the road if the man is not
The lunar man.
exactly.
If he's not on.
Wait until it turns green or white is showing, and then you cross safely. You do any other crossing, you're crossing at your own risk. Also, one should be prepared. One should prepare for cars to, as I said earlier, sneak up, if you want to call it, or fail to pay attention. You must look out for these things because drivers. And once you lose focus, anything could happen. And we are saying too, if there is no pedestrian crossing and you are crossing at your own risk. So we are asking pedestrian and all other road users to cross where there are designated crossing areas and where there are traffic wardens. And if you have to make sure you look left, look right, and then you cross.
All right, we're going to open the lines now, 465